Welcome to the seed world of the Cuvier's dwarf Caiman and multiple other species. As the last video was on every single group and how they've evolved over the past maybe around 3 million years, this will be on most of them. Now, as this series progresses, I want it to have a lot of, stuff. So, shameless plug time. Go like and subscribe the video. Comment if you can. Get this into the cruel system of the algorithm like you guys did last time.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Okay, shameless plug aside, let's get on with this video we need to get on with this video. Alright, first off the bend, we have the solar system the planet is located, choosing to name it the Odin system because I can. Now we have the planet's name and its continents. Translated from English to Latin, the planet's name is Crocobus Terra Neo, meaning New Crocodile Earth. Now, if that wasn't boring enough, we have something brand new. Drumroll, please. We have genuses and group names for each individual species of reptile, primarily because I didn't want to do birds or mammals. Well, just mammals. Now, as most of you are bored and probably are going to click off, stay for just a couple more minutes, because we actually have species. Now, for the ones that watched the last video, this is the Hidden Tooth Caiman, a descendant of the red-headed Terra Caiman. Now, that's all you need to know on it. Now, get ready, viewers, because we have some pretty big boys coming up, including the largest crocodilian to ever exist, as of yet. From the last video in the series, we have the river dragon. Watch that video to learn on it, but it is the ancestor of all of these next few species. So up first, we have the short-legged drake. At 3 tons, this carnivorous descendant of the river dragon is a large and rather menacing animal to be feared in the waterways. Now, we have the monstrum maris, meaning monster of the sea in Latin. This 1.9-ton prawnivore is a large, carnivorous, and prawn-eating descendant of the river dragon. It is rather intelligent and rather dangerous, being fully aquatic. Now meet the Neo, or the new, Mosasaurus. At 3 tons, this large descendant of the river dragon, not the Cuvier's dwarf Caiman, is primarily a carnivore, but will eat some plants such as the seaweeds and barks of roots from mangrove trees. Now, I apologize for how underwhelming those last few species are. However, these next few are going to be some of the largest and the greatest of the reptiles, after the dinosaurs, of course. Now, I will be honest, these next few are rather hilariously named, such as Erectus crocobus, meaning the upright crocodile. It is a 15-pound carnivore, but its descendants will be far larger and far more hilariously named. Well, speak of the devil, we have the Gigantus erectus, meaning upright giant. At 2 tons, this carnivore hunts the largest of mammals and crocodilians yet to evolve and to be shown, but not for long. Now we have the hunter of titans, Crocobus aulus erectus, still meaning crocodile aulus upright. At 2 tons, this carnivorous descendant of Gigantus erectus is a massive carnivore that has to eat at least 300 pounds a week to survive. Now, apologies for the hilariously unserious names of the last few creatures, and apologies for the underwhelming and lack of information. But we have the giants coming up, and after the giants, we have the great and wonderful mammals, and then some very goofy and oversized birds. And after that, we will talk a little bit about some climates, some ecosystems, some ecological niches. I'm just kidding, we'll end the video. We have the emerald-headed Caiman, At 200 pounds, this massive herbivorous descendant of the red-headed terror Caiman is the ancestor of all of these next guys. This one, the plant raptor, being smaller than its ancestor at 180 pounds, is a facultative herbivore, meaning it will hunt animals when it can. Here we have the sloth Euclops, meaning lazy beast. At 324 pounds, this herbivore is a rather lazy individual species. Now we have the Crocobus gigantus, meaning the giant crocodile. At 1.5 tons, this is currently one of the largest animals to roam the planet. Here we have the Titanus crocobus. At 6.5 tons, this herbivore is a high browser with a tendency to scavenge. Now yes, the Mokelemembe is named after the cryptid. At 9 tons, this giant herbivore is a high browser without a tendency to scavenge that is the descendant of the Titanus crocobus. Now we have the Giganta planta lacera, translated from Latin meaning giant plant lizard. At 13 tons, this is the largest herbivore to exist, with a very sauropod-like build. Now we have the herd Euclops. At 3 tons, this is a giant, low-browsing herbivore that mostly feeds on bushes and tough woody plants. We have the ant-eating Euclops. At 900 pounds, this guy needs to eat and destroy well over 25 ant colonies a day to survive. Okay, now that we are done with the crocodilians, we can finally get on to the mammals and the last of the dinosaurs, aka the avians, aka birds. Here we have the ocean achoy, being a large descendant of the red achoy. It is the descendant of the dolphin achoy, a large omnivorous distant descendant of the red achoy. It is very much dolphin-like, but lacks the same social structure. Okay, now that we've gotten over the smaller ocean animals, we must get on to the largest of ocean mammals, the achi whales. Meet the whale achoy. At 3 tons, this is the ancestor of the Aquus gigantus achoy, the aquatic giant achoy. At 9.4 tons, it's the largest aquatic animal to evolve as of yet. Here we have the rat dog. At a good solid weight, this carnivore is the first carnivorous species of achoy to evolve. Meet the striped rat. This gigantic herbivore is an intelligent, social animal. This is the red bruiser. What you need to know is that it is the ancestor of all comes next. Meet the axe-headed achoy. With its rather short posture and its axe-like crest, it is a dangerous animal. Here we have the tall achoy. Being the first descendant of the achoy that was non-aquatic to reach a ton, it is a very interesting animal, but not too interesting. Here we have the rhino bruiser, being one of the few achoy descendants that break 3 tons. It is a giant herbivore, and just like its forward-horned bruiser relative, it is a dangerous and somewhat social animal. But it is not as dangerous as the armored rat. At 3.3 tons, this animal is armored and has both the frontal horn and a stegosaur-like tail. Oh boy! We are at the end, well, almost at the end of the video. We have the last section on the descendants of the macaws and the finches, and they're both together because I don't have the energy to make them separate. Just like with the crocodilians, these ones have groups and genuses. Here we have the saber bird. At 120 pounds, this carnivorous descendant of the scarlet moors is named after a tooth or saber-like protrusion on its beak. Here we have the marine macaw. At 220 pounds, this prawnivore, meaning a prawn eater, is a descendant of the scarlet moors. This is the clawfinch, shown in the last episode. It is the ancestor of the next species, the fernfinch. Meet the fernfinch, a animal that primarily feeds on ferns. At 230 pounds, it is one of the largest birds to ever exist. And lastly, we have the finch of Eden. At 12 pounds, this extravagantly, well, its feathers are rather extravagant. This omnivore, and it is one of the only flying birds to remain that is not in the basket of nearly extinct, due to competition with the descendants of the far more successful scarlet macaw. That is the end of episode 3. Enjoy, and if you liked the video, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It means a lot more than you think it does. Well, that's it for this week's video, folks. I'm thinking of making another video on the cosmic horror of mimicry because I did not go into that one very well. And it's also gotten a lot of views, and, views are good. That means I could actually get 100 subscribers. But until we meet again,